as much of the spots, if you will. So I have a protector between my iPad and the outside world,
Yeah.
a clear protector, and there's some dust that got accumulated in there. Uh, and so there's one piece of dust like right above my eye, which I can't not see. But then
Well,
there's also this thing here, which is not a piece of dust. It's actually something in the room. So I kept on trying to wipe it off earlier, but it's not dust.
can't even see what you're pointing at. So
Oh
it
yeah, that's right. Because you can't. Yeah,
it's not on the camera, it's on the screen.
exactly. So very exciting for everybody involved. So this is the studio as of right now.
Yeah.
I got my bookshelf, which is good, but then there's a bunch of just junk lying
Yeah.
around that I will eventually solve.
Is your studio also where you'll be working during the day?
Yes, yeah. This is basically I've got my domain,
Yeah.
which is this small room. Jennifer has her domain, which is the entire basement floor. I'm kidding, of course. The basement floor is also going to have
I would have bought it.
like um, it's where we're going to be storing stuff, etc.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the large part, that is where her studio is going to be. That's where the TV and game areas are. And I'm really going to do my best to try to like read more and not watch TV as much. So,
I was just gonna ask, is it when she's working, does that mean no TV, no games?
no TV, no games in the game studio, but like I've got all of my I got all of my music stuff here. Well, I can't do music stuff when she's working either.
Right.
Um, but you'll
Electronic stuff
well,
with headphones.
yeah, true. Um, well, except for you like all my exhalations of oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
boy.
that's my shit. So here's the thing, self edit there. You notice we didn't have to do
Yeah.
anything. Um, the other thing that I realize is that you can't really tell now, but you will be able to tell that in this room there is no furnace,
Uh-oh.
and therefore the sound is going to be a lot better. I,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
see.
there's
There's
still
no.
heating. There's no
Okay.
actual
I was
furnace right next to where I'm recording.
I was wondering if you were like in the cold room.
Yeah. So the good news is, as we those of the listeners who have been following this, there was a concern that maybe I wouldn't be able to um, make the closing costs of the house. That happened. There was a
Yeah.
concern that I wouldn't be able to make it here with my stuff. That also was workable. Like we had uh, we had Jennifer on deck to like pay for the move if she needed to.
Yeah.
Luckily, that didn't happen, so I was able to do the closing costs and the move, and I was able to pay for the raccoon
Raccoon
proofing of
removal
the
service.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things that didn't get done, the electricity didn't get done, but the so we still have the old push button breaker panel,
Yeah.
which is, it's still, here's the thing, it still works. It's just the guy who came out to
Outdated.
look at it, we had a couple of different people looking at it, and the guy who put down our Ethernet cables, he put it this way, your toaster and your microwave should be on different circuits. I mean that's really, and the garage should be on a different circuit, and right now the stuff is all kind of sharing circuits. It's not good.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be saving up for. We're going to be saving up for doing that. Other things that aren't happening yet, we don't have garbage cans.
They
the
don't.
city provides them, but they'll let you know.
So now you just gotta pile your trash in the garage.
That well, and that's the thing is we don't want to pile it in the garage because that's going to attract the animals. So right now it's piled
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
I could pay the got junk people to come and get it. They'll also get trash and garbage, but
Right.
that costs a lot of
It
money.
does. That is surprisingly
And
expensive.
yeah, well, but I mean, it is peace of mind because they do take it and then it's gone, and
Right.
that's nice. Um, there is a transfer station that we can, and that's what we're gonna try, I think.
Just driving
Taking
your
our
garbage
garbage
to,
there,
yeah.
driving it there, and seeing how much it is, because that costs money too, but it's probably going to be less money.
We were uh
Um,
we were taking
yeah.
out a truckload of garbage from Annex one day, and what they do, maybe they do this everywhere,
Now,
but here
is it garbage or trash? Because I need to make that distinction. Garbage, in my mind, has like food stuff in it.
is that must be a you thing. I don't differentiate between garbage and trash.
Did it have food stuff in it? Like, was it
Maybe it was
okay?
just stuff from Annex, and there might have been food stuff in one of the garbage bags that was taken
Okay.
out with like pieces from a set build. Um, and we were they weigh you when you go in, and then they weigh you when you come out. Like your vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And you're charged based on the difference of the weight, like on based on the poundage that you threw away.
Ah.
And I can't remember who it was, but we had like three people in the cab of the truck, to like throw stuff out. And
Yeah.
when we're going out, one person, I can't remember why, he didn't get back in the car when we were going out. And so I think it was in my memory, it's Zach Lewis saying this, but it wasn't Zach because Zach never helped us. But I'm going to make up a name now. Chris, get back in the car now. I'm not paying to throw your ass away.
Nice. Yeah. 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 Um. So what you do is you have a Confederate, right? And he goes in and he
You
puts a
sneak.
bird bath, a cement bird bath somewhere in the thing, and then he puts it back into your truck when you go, and then that's not a bad idea. Pick up some stuff while you're there.
Yeah,
And here's the thing, maybe they don't care. They're like, great,
get rid of it.
great, less stuff that I have to throw away then. Yeah, no
Exactly.
problem. So I met a couple of my neighbors,
Uh-oh.
and you know,
I'm very like
they
I don't
they're
even I don't if I
like,
see the person
yeah,
walking into the apartment next door to me, I will avoid eye contact at all costs.
yeah, I get it. But yeah, there's one guy, um, and I don't know. I am kind of conscious of maybe not giving too many details about my neighbors away because this is something that if you remember, friend of the show Evan was over one time, and I
Oh,
was about
right.
to do his
Yeah.
last name, and he was like, no, no, no. So I'm not going to identify them necessarily, but there's one guy who was there, who was like, yeah, I don't know. I thought I would come up. When I saw you, I thought there was something wrong, and so I wanted to make sure that you were okay and you knew where you were. And I
Oh,
was like, yeah, yeah, no
like
problem. Um,
you've come to the wrong neighborhood.
so I walked. So what? Let's go this way. I'll tell you about my last days there.
Yeah,
So when we last spoke, what was happening? Do you remember? There was something I was going to say. I'll tell you about this all after it happens. Do you remember what it was?
it was right before the packing company was going to come and pack up your stuff
Yeah.
and move it. You, I think, had a day left. No, it was a Saturday when we last spoke, so you were
Okay.
already like on vacation.
Yeah. So I was already on vacation. So we went on Monday. So on Sunday we went and we rented a car
Yeah.
and we loaded it up with stuff that we were going to take in. So like these monitors that are here, I took those. I didn't take my computer for work. I took my computer for work myself later on, but we went and we took the stuff that we wanted that we didn't want the moving company to move up, and then uh went and signed did a walkthrough of the house for the first time, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And did anything surprise you that you weren't expecting from the photos or from the
not
video that the realtor sent?
not at that point,
Not at that point.
but there's more later. Um,
As you get to
so
learn the house.
right, exactly. So we so we went there, we signed all the papers, and then as we finished signing the papers, somebody was like, "Oh, it was my realtor." My realtor was like, "Hey, the seller is supposed to pay their realtor." And I'm looking at these forms and they never did. It says zero for that. And the seller's realtor is there expecting to get her check for selling the house.
Right.
And so they had to redo the paperwork. And all the while I'm thinking, okay, this is a mammoth play. This is some big long con that they're doing right now. And
What we'll do
and
is
they're
you
like,
pay the
no, it's fine.
seller's realtor, and then we'll
No,
make sure the
well,
seller reimburses you.
it wasn't that. They were like, okay, we've got to redo these forms. We're not changing anything on your side. We're just changing the seller's side so that the seller is going to pay that. And I looked at all the stuff and it seemed good. And as we're leaving at the very last minute, oh, okay. So the people that show up, my realtor and the loan officer from the company that's getting the loan for me are both there, and they're friends, right? So in the end, she gives him a fishing pole, and so he's got this huge fishing pole in the
Hooked
garage. I
another
mean,
one.
in the parking lot, and he's messing around with it. And then as we're pulling out, a person from the title company, the escrow agency that we're using for the money,
Yeah.
my realtor and my loan officer guy, they all come running at our car with another piece of paper, and they're like, "We got to get your." And there's a car behind us, right? And we're blocking this car from going. And like, we got to get your signature on this one other sheet of paper that we forgot. And I'm trying to read it, and Jennifer's like, "There's a guy behind me. We just have to go, just sign it." And I'm like, "This is the mammoth play. This is exactly it."
That's how
Um,
they get you.
but I did sign it. I blew the audio, Ben, at that point. I'm sure you're used to this by now. Whenever I get excited and
I don't listen to the
but
show.
oh yeah, sorry everybody who does. In more ways than one, everyone who does, I am sorry.
Yeah.
No, but so the house is ours, right? And so
Legally.
we go back, we move the stuff into that part, and we're in the kitchen where the stove is, and we're like, huh, we smell gas.
Oh, God.
All right, well, and then we leave, and
And
we get
hopefully
back.
that house is here when we get back.
Betty, and Jennifer. That night we return the car. Betty and Jennifer go down with the animals. Go up to
Yeah.
Chicago with
Yeah.
the animals. I stay behind, um, and you know, it's weird stuff happens. Like as Jennifer's getting out, she backs into the tailgate of the truck of the moving people who are packing us. No
Okay.
damage to the tailgate at all.
I'd
It's
imagine.
just our car. So no problems. So they go, and so I'm talking to the Packers, and the Packers are like, okay, anything that you don't want us to pack, put on the bed
Okay.
because we're not taking the bed until later. So just put it on the bed; it should all be fine. So I take my bag that has my computer in it and stuff like that. I put it um, on the bed along with my change of clothes for the next couple of days. Um, they don't pack the bag that has my computer in it. but they do pack all of my clothes.
Even though
And
they
so,
said,
yeah. And so the clothes that I have left for the next several days are a pair of swimming trunks, the shirt and pants that I was wearing prior to that,
yeah,
and a couple of dirty clothes from the week before that were still in the hamper that hadn't been packed.
jeez.
So,
Moving.
yeah, yeah. So, and it's all, I mean, it's all like, they said we could try to get your clothes out, but they're like in a box somewhere marked clothes underneath a whole bunch of, I'm like, don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
This will be fine. So and my dad, this is George in Illinois, is like, so you're gonna wear swim trunks on the train, like it's the worst thing in the world. I'm like, it's fine. They're long swim trunks. I've got a t-shirt on. They just look like shorts. It'll be okay. So
Or the people in the train will just think I'm going swimming.
yeah, exactly. Um, so
On the train
the
pool.
then the train I mean the movers come the next day and they pack up all the stuff. And it's just me. I'm in my swim trunks and my shirt. And I'm like, this is gonna be fine. This is, and they don't bat an eye. It's all cool.
I'm sure they've
Um,
seen a whole lot worse.
they so they packed up all the stuff and they say, okay, we're gonna be the ones meeting you. Um,
At your new
in
house.
Chicago. So we'll talk to you more later. And there's a crew of like probably six people, and they all do that thing, and then the moving thing. They pack everything up. I sign some stuff, and then they're gone. And then I look at the house, and there's a lot of stuff that's like left over.
Yeah.
Right? There's like a trash can they didn't take, a blue box in the bathroom that they didn't take, things like
Oh,
that.
stuff they should
So
have
I
taken.
call, well, stuff that they should have, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
it's like at this point they're moving so much stuff. Jennifer and I already knew that there would be some items that they would pack that we didn't really want, and some items that. But another thing is that there are like all these, things that they left that is just trash,
Yeah.
our trash,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I called the Get Junk people, and they're gonna move me. And then I get a call, and remember, I'm turning the keys in for this place at like 5. I'm supposed
Right.
to be turning them in at 5. So I call them and I'm like, hey, you guys were going to be here at 3. It's now you said between 1 and 3. It's now 3, and they're like, oh yeah, the other people are taking a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So we'll get it. And then I get a call from them saying, well, hey, can we show up tomorrow? I'm like, no, you can't. And it works out. There's a crew that they got a thing canceled, so they come out.
That's good.
And we're cleaning everything up, and I see this poncho, and I'm like, okay, I got my swim trunks on, I got this t-shirt. I'm gonna have this poncho too. So I take this poncho, I put it in the wash. It's covered in leaves. Um, and then I take the poncho out, and the inside of the washing machine is now covered in bits of leaves.
Right.
So I'm like, great. So I'm like cleaning that up, and then I put the poncho in the dryer. People show up. They're going through and throwing all the stuff away. They throw all the stuff away, and then the poncho comes out and it's dry. And I'm like, how is this? Is this all right? Like, what do you think about this poncho? And they're like, yeah, it's great. You should keep it. So I keep it,
You asking
and then
the 1-800 got junk people
yeah,
this?
like yeah, because I'm otherwise I'm going to throw it away. And they're like, no, you should keep it. It's fine. So then they leave, and my friend Andy, friend of the podcast, has been on once,
Yeah.
shows up, and so I'm going to be staying at his house, and he says to me, "Hey, just so you know, that poncho you're wearing smells like cat piss," and I'm like, "Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the poncho, obviously." and I we throw it away in the okay.
Even after
The
you washed it.
house, right? The house next to the house that I'm at, right, is or the house next to the house that I'm moving from
Uh-huh.
is going into renovation. There's a big, huge construction dumpster out in
Yeah.
front of it. Now, I let them use our water free of charge while they were constructing the house. So I feel very justified to throw the poncho in there. Throw the poncho in there. And then we go back to Andy's house. Um, and we do, oh no, we don't go back to Andy's house. Sorry. We go and we drop the keys off at the office. Office is closed, but there's a drop box for the keys.
Right.
So we drop the keys off at the drop box, and then we start the Kessel Run. And the Kessel Run, if you don't know, is a plan that Andy and I had come up with a while back, and we had just never done it. This is my last time in Edwardsville, so we're doing it, where we get soup, and each cup of soup is a parsec. And so we go to six different soup places. We get a cup of soup in each one, and because we don't finish the soup everywhere, we eat most of the soup, but there's still a little bit left.
Yeah.
It means that we're finishing the castle in less than 12 parsecs. That's the whole joke. So
Fewer
I
than
made a
12
list.
parsecs.
Oh yes, fewer than. Um, so I made a list. I'm just going to read it to you really quick of what we had, just in case anybody ever asks, and who wouldn't, right? So uh, number one, egg drop soup at Oriental Spoon. Oriental Spoon is a Korean restaurant in Edwardsville. Uh, it's one of those things that, like, the Bear, where there's a guy who's a chef, and then he opens up a restaurant. That's
Yeah.
kind of like this. Like the Oriental Spoon is a thing that this guy from Korea, um, or a guy with Korean heritage. He's a
It
Korean guy.
just found himself living in Edwardsville, Illinois, and thought, why not just open a restaurant?
It seems so. Uncle Nemo's corn and shrimp chowder at Gulf Shores was number two. Number three was tortilla soup at 54th Street Grill. And then after that, we went to Southern Illinois University's cafeteria, where they were serving tortilla soup. And we're like, okay, well, we're not doing that. Then we had tomato basil at the Foundry Public House. Then French onion at the Stagger Inn again. Okay, so the tomato basil, probably the best soup. It was really interesting, right? It was sort of sweet, sort of tangy. Really liked it.
You could really
But the
taste the
French
basil.
onion soup, exactly, yes. The French onion soup, though, was really good too.
Yeah.
So I think that was at least my number two favorite. And then finally, Italian wedding soup at Ed's Diner. So six cups of
Italian
soup,
wedding.
Italian wedding soup. It's like what is it? Orzo? Is that it? The
The
tiny
tiny, like, rice kind of thing.
pastas?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. And then we finally had ice cream floats at the end, which I can say too much. We shouldn't have done the floats. We both finished like half of them, and we're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
We can't do anymore. Um, let's see. Do I mention it on the podcast? I'll tell you afterwards. Remind me to tell you something. In the
Is that gonna work?
fun, in the fun after podcast time that Ben and I have, that no one else participates in, unless we have a Patreon, which
By
we don't.
design.
And if we do have a Patreon, there's a problem.
Do
As we
so how does it feel to be a home owner again and no longer a home renter?
the big thing is that your money goes away faster. That's the thing I will say. So the the big thing is this: spent the night there, then got got to the Amtrak station. My Amtrak train was supposed to leave at 3:49. I got to the station at 6:42.
In the morning?
So way early. Yeah.
So you basically spent the day at the train station.
I
Did
didn't though
did Andy have to
because I
go to
went to
work?
the
Is that why
Mhm.
you had to bugger out
Yep.
so soon? Yeah,
Well, it wasn't so much that, I mean, that was always kind of the plan, but I put it late just in case there were any problems.
right.
Like Andy couldn't make it, or there was a emergency or whatever. Um, so I wanted to give myself time to be able to get there with public transportation or whatever. When I got to the Amtrak station, I went to the front counter and I said, "Hey, is there anything earlier than 3:49?"
Right.
And they said, "Well, the only other train that there is the one that's leaving at 7:42." And I was like, "The one that's leaving in less than an hour?" And they're like, "Yes." I'm like, "That would be fine."
I'll take
Uh,
that one.
so so I got there, rode the train, and here's something fun about the train that I didn't know about that I do now. Um, the conductors on the train are more than happy to kick you off if you give them even the slightest bit of attitude, which I didn't, but I witnessed somebody getting kicked off of the train. That was the first thing that happened.
Did they not have their ticket? I mean,
Oh, they
like,
had
we're
their ticket, but they were complaining because nobody was letting them sit next to
okay.
them. They're like this, and here's the thing that was crazy. They were sitting next to me, and I said, "Oh, hello." Um, so I don't know what the deal is. Now, it could be I am sort of a fat guy now. And it could be they didn't want to sit next to the fat guy. It's possible. But um it also might have been that she wanted to be in a different car. Like I was very far away from like where the food was and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just really interesting seeing two people arguing about how no one's letting her sit down when she's sitting down. But anyway, he kicked her off the train. Um, another like maybe hour into the trip, two other people sat down. One sat down next to me, and one across the aisle from the guy who sat down, and they were complaining that they left and somebody stole their seats.
Yeah.
And the guy smelled like cigarette smoke, like a lot of cigarette smoke.
Smoking,
Um,
still a thing.
yeah, I know it's weird. So he was like, you know, hey, I might fall asleep on you. If so, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm listening to Becky Poole's album.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She has an album. Oh, and she has a new single as well, called Object. And Object is probably my favorite thing that she. I like her album. Her album is good. Don't get me wrong, but Object is like, mwah,
All right.
uh, really good. So shout out Becky Poole, Object. It's one of those things, Ben, that when the saw comes in, it comes in right at the right time, and it's just amazing. So anyway, so I'm listening to that and I'm doing things, and then eventually something happens where he starts talking to me. I forget what he starts talking to me about, but it's one of those things where you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like you take, and then eventually you're like, "Okay," and then eventually you take your headphones off because you're like, "Okay, we're just
We're
in it
now in a
now."
conversation.
And he finds out that I'm moving to Chicago. He is not familiar with Chicago. He is going to Chicago because it's his 30th birthday,
Okay.
and he is planning on painting the town, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I
Today's
have
show
Liquid
brought
Death,
to you by Liquid Death.
and I don't need this anymore because I have transcended the need for water. No, I now a Brita pitcher with a filter that filters out lead. So
So no more canned water, no more upselled water.
No more upselled water. We'll see how it goes. I like canned water better than bottled water. It just feels better to me, like mentally. Like I can recycle this can,
Right.
and it's not as big of a thing.
This can's not
So
going to choke a turtle, maybe.
so we start talking about Chicago, and I start talking about how, um, so why, he's like, why would you pick to move to Chicago out of all places? And I mentioned the fact that, Chicago, especially where I'm living right now, is like has always voted Democratic for like the whole thing. And he's like, oh, I'm interested more about that because I'm a Trump supporter. And I'm like,
Jeez.
oh, oh, okay. Um, well, what can I say? What can I tell you that
Could
you
possibly
haven't
change your
already?
opinion.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, why? Like, and this is what he said. He said, "Are you excited about voting for Kamala Harris?" And I'm like, Kamala Harris. And I was like, okay, so here's the thing: if we had run off voting, right, or if we had any sort of like ranked choice ballots or whatever, would she be my first choice? Probably not. But out of the choices that I have, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm. And he's like, well, he says I'm an investment, or no, I'm a day trader. He said, and with Trump, I know where I stand, and I know that my livelihood isn't going to be affected. Keep this in mind. That statement.
I'm assuming this is a
Um,
white guy.
it is not. The person I was speaking to is a black Republican.
Really? Yeah,
Yes,
they exist.
and this is important uh, because he he is very much like the opposite of what is in many ways the opposite of what is going on here. So he is a black man who has moved to Edwardsville, Illinois, which is kind of a conservative white people place. I'm a white guy moving to South Chicago, which is a sort of democratic black person place. And
Yeah.
we're discussing our politics, and I'm like, okay, so I'm you could call this bleeding heart, whatever, but I'm really for programs that maybe don't benefit me but benefit my community. So, for example, I don't have a kid in school anymore, but I vote for taxes for schools because I think that having money for schools is important. And he said, well, he said if everybody were looking out for their own well-being, then it would be the same as the government looking out for everybody. And I'm like, it isn't though. It's not. Okay. He goes off to use the restroom, and we get to another stop, and his girlfriend is the person who's sitting across the aisle, right? And I say to her, "Hey, those two seats are open. You guys could sit together."
Yeah.
And she thinks about it for a second. She takes a second, and then
Wow.
she says, "Yeah, okay, okay." And she sits there, and then he comes and sits next to her. I put my headphones back on, and it's maybe another hour in when I notice that they're arguing about something. She's saying that he's talking to her like her mom used to, and that
Mm,
she doesn't appreciate it.
hmm.
And he said, "But your mom taught you something, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, but that's not what's happening here." So on and so forth. They keep arguing, and then she mentions that she's the only one who's bringing money into the relationship on a consistent basis.
This is the day trader guy.
Yeah, so it sounds like very similar to gambling that sometimes he has a lot of money and sometimes he doesn't have any money. And it's just sort of luck of the draw when this stuff happens. That's part of the argument.
I'm wondering if by calling, because when you initially said day trader, I thought of like that's, that's his job. He went to an office and did that kind of thing. But it
It
sounds
sounds
like
like no,
online gambling.
except with stocks.
Yeah. He's a
So
he's a mod of our Wall Street bets.
so I don't know. At that point I just kind of like mentally separated myself from that. But as we got closer and closer to Chicago, he got more and more excited about it. Um, and he was drinking from the bar cart, and he was like,
Tying one on
"You
early.
aren't ready for me. This is it. I'm gonna burn this place down." Like very excited to be in
Oh, he was
Chicago.
saying that to Chicago.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah, not to the people there, but to Chicago itself. And so I'm like, this is. I'm like,
I bet
is
you.
this the worst person I could have been with when I get into Chicago? And the answer, Ben, is no, because as soon as I left my seat and I'm walking, they open the doors and it's time to go. There's an older white couple, and I'm going past her to exit out the doors. And she looks at me and she snaps, "You have to wait a minute." And me and the guy who at that point in time, had sort of broken, instantly reconnected and went, "Ah." And and she and her husband got all three of their bags out and made sure that everything was okay with all of their bags, and then looked around and said, "There's supposed to be someone here to help us with our luggage." And then sighed and started moving their bags down the thing. And I was like, okay, okay, me and this guy, a lot of things that are different, but both of us hated what just happened then
It's
because
a miracle that
we
you two were able to come together over hatred of a third party.
because we really didn't have to wait a minute. We really didn't.
Yeah.
That was not that was not the rules at all. And then he was like, "So what's the first thing I should do?" And I'm like, "We literally have been dropped in downtown Chicago. Uh, you can do just about anything. It just
Yeah.
depends on what you want." So and then I had a little trouble finding the red line to get home because I wasn't and this is I should have known because of Seattle
Not all the trains are
as
red.
well. Not well, no, not. It's not that not all the trains are red, but not all of the L trains are elevated. For a while,
Oh,
they're underground,
yeah.
and then they go up on the thing, just like in Seattle.
Yeah. Just like
So
in Seattle.
I got in the red line, and yeah, about 14 minutes. Got from where the train station was to home, and then walked another 15 minutes and got home. And that was my trip to here.
It's fascinating. You're always able to attract odd personalities in public
Yeah,
places. Maybe it's
I
because
just
you
realized.
engage.
Yeah, me. Yeah, specifically. By the way, there's a new. I've aged into a certain new bracket. You know how people used to tell me that I looked like Screech from
Saved by the
uh,
Bell?
Saved by the Bell?
Was it the
That
was
was
I'm
that was a
assuming
thing.
he's the one that had curly hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. And then I used to get painted guy.
Bob
I'm blanking.
Ross.
Bob Ross. Used to get Bob Ross. I'm now getting Richard Simmons. Uh,
Richard Simmons.
you look a lot like Richard Simmons, which is weird because
He
Richard
doesn't have
Simmons.
a beard.
I don't think ever sported a beard that I can
Yeah.
remember. So that's kind of interesting.
Actually, you know who you look like to me now? Michael Sheen. Do you know Michael Sheen?
Oh yeah. Hey, thanks, Ben. That's kind of a compliment. Um, one guy said, what's his head? Mel Gibson. Do you remember this? It was at
Like,
the Pokey place, and I think it's only because of our beard pattern, like
yeah,
white beard right here, and then because
yeah.
there's nothing else about me that says Mel Gibson.
No.
So, so I've been here for a week. Uh,
Still
it seems like
unpacking?
still unpacking. But then I remember now. Remember how I said that we smelled gas?
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
still smelled it. We called the gas people out, and they looked at her like, "Oh, you gotta shut off your this side of the stove because the range is leaking gas. The or the tube underneath that feeds the range is leaking gas.
Oh, okay.
You can call a plumber and they'll fix it. So we called the plumber. He fixed it,
Gas plumber.
and then I was walking by and I still smelled it. Now, because I'm this kind of person, I bought a gas detector, the same kind that they used. I saw what kind they used, and um, the oven. Now the oven's dangerous, and I figured it's probably because this is just the way these things work. They fixed this side, which was leaking.
Yeah.
Now that the leak wasn't happening there, the leak happened in the next place that the leak would happen. But Jennifer just shut that side off. Now we don't have an oven, but we also don't have to worry about gas leak.
Dying. Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. So it's tough.
Do
It's
you know
tough.
where your
But
water shut-off valve is?
Jennifer knows where it is. Do
Yeah.
I know? No. I don't know where my gas or water shut-off valve is. I should ask Jennifer to show me. Um, Really, a lot of making this household work depends on there being a Jennifer at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so the the basic thing is, yeah. Now we have to wait for the cans to come,
Yeah.
and we have to unpack more of our stuff. I need to organize this room so it's I mean it's already better than it was in the old place, but I have to like fix some more things and all that.
You ready to go back to
But
work on
yeah,
Monday?
I am. I am. I checked all my stuff, and that all seemed to be okay.
Yeah.
Like what I mean by that is that I am able to receive emails, send emails,
Right. Yeah.
check all the websites I need to get to and all that. So that seems good. It also allowed me to get through a lot of my backlog of mail. It was funny though. I kept on texting my coworker, "I'm not here," and then somebody would ask my coworker a question on like a Slack channel that we're both on, and I was like, "I think it's this," and they're like, "You're not here. Go away. Stop it."
Yeah.
So I think I am ready.
I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks beginning on Monday. And
Yeah.
like today was my last like work thing, so I just have some obligations to fulfill until I leave. But like I'm I've told everybody like I'm gonna be gone, you know, won't be able to do anything for 3 weeks, so don't bother. But ultimately it will happen where somebody will be like, "Are you able to do this quick thing for us?" You know? I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
not when I'm driving 75 miles down the freeway." Like one of the things I get to do before I leave is tomorrow the fire department's going to be walking through Annex Theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're going to be here.
And I'm going to be at Annex. I'm going to be the one letting them in and showing them around and explaining what we've done to the space.
Well, you see, this part here, it's fine. Everything is good. Um, Officer, sir, whoever. I'm not saying you do that, but it would be really funny. if you were to just constantly mopping your brow,
Oh, yeah.
voice cracking.
It's
That's
best
what you
not to
don't
try
want
to
to do.
it's best not to try
Yeah,
to project nervousness when, you're talking to the fire department. But I've dealt with the fire department before. They're generally pretty cool and easygoing. Like as long as they don't think people are going to burn alive in your
yeah,
space, you'll be fine. And I just had the fire extinguishers redone, so we're all good. But
nice.
so the show that's happening right now is a Halloween immersive haunted but not haunted house escape room kind of thing.
Good
And
deal. That's
they've
what I like.
they've taken over the entire building. Like the green room is part of it, the elevator, the storage area is part of it. I've never seen the elevator area so clean, but yeah. So there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff in here that the fire department might not like. So we just have to make sure that it's all set and ready for them to view tomorrow morning.
I've told you already, Ben. I think we've talked about this, but I will say it one more time. The best idea ever that I have had for a haunted house, and I think it still works. You have a haunted house, like a regular, whatever haunted house thing, and then you have a series of three rooms at the end. The first room is the fake exit,
Yeah,
where there's just a normal person, and they're like, "Hey, thanks a lot. Have a good night." And then you exit from there, and you're still in the haunted house,
right.
and there are monsters, and they come and get you, and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the real exit, where and if you can get twins, that would be great. Where that looks exactly like the fake exit.
Yeah,
It would be really cool.
that
Um,
would be pretty funny if you had twins, but you had two fake exit rooms.
yeah. Well, a fake exit and then a real exit. That's the key. Because if you do any more, it'd be torture, I think.
You don't want to torture your audience.
So, I gotta say, right now, anyway, um, Chicago has a couple of things that are really great. Did I show you the 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 thing I got at this place called Goblin Bat? And if not, I'm gonna send it to you
What's the place
right
called?
now. Goblin Bat.
Goblin Bat.
Yeah, it is a food chain.
Oh, it sounds like
I
a
did.
novelty store,
Yeah,
or
well,
maybe like a comic
it's
book store.
it's interesting. I thought it was maybe a comic book store. We didn't know what it was, and finally Jennifer's like, "Well, we're just going in. We're going in, and we'll see exactly what it is." And I'm going to send you the. Okay, I'm going to send you two pictures. This is picture number one, and let's see here. Where is he? He is
That's my name.
Ben Lawrence.
Hey, that's my full
Oh
name.
no, now everybody knows. And then I'll send this one as well. Tell me when you get it.
I got yeah,
Okay, so that is a corn dog,
corn dog made of what
fruity
fruity pebbles.
pebbles.
That's
Yeah,
exactly it.
but let me show you this part. The corn dog made out of fruity pebbles is only half corn dog. The first half of it
Is that
is mozzarella
cheese?
cheese.
That looks disgusting.
It was wonderful. So that's Goblin Bat.
What's
We
that called? That corn dog made of fruity pebbles and mozzarella cheese.
You know what? I don't know. It's just called a
It
corn dog, I think.
transcends names.
Yeah, exactly. It's beyond names. Um, they also I also had something called a super donut, which apparently is something that they used to serve in public schools.
So
It's
sorry.
just a nutritional donut.
Ah,
It comes in a packet. Um, let's see. Oh, we got our chimney cleaned as well, so we can definitely use the chimney.
Sim Marie.
Um, I also Steven, I believe, sent me some ginger tea, and I got that. Oh, I'm sending you another picture. This one is a fried steak sandwich or a breaded steak sandwich.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is pretty great. And then here I'll send you this as well. Um, and then this is from a Korean place. It's Gangnam, like Gangnam style.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
it's
is
a
a region, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's Gangnam Market is what it's called, and it's a Korean grocery store. They have tons of stuff, all of which is really great. What I've just sent you is vegan spam. And Ben, let me tell you,
To fry it up?
the interesting thing about it, you know how spam gets that glisten of fat on it when you cook it?
Yeah. Not, I don't
It,
know about when you cook it, but like,
oh yeah,
when it's in the tin, it's got like this
yeah.
layer of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, but when you cook it, the fat from it like kind of pools on the surface a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
Um, and this clear kind of sheen. They have it for some way they've made it,
Some
which
they
is kind of exciting. Oh, and then the other
we
final
have
thing
the
is that when I oh sorry, go ahead.
we have the
We have the
technology.
technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I got here, we started unpacking boxes, and there's so much dust that like I got a bad cough,
Yeah.
and my nose started running and all that. Last night at 8 p.m. or was it the night before? I guess it was. Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah, Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I got my COVID shot
Oh,
and my flu shot.
excellent.
I was like, I already feel bad. Well, I say I was like, Jennifer is like, you already feel bad. You might as well get it now
Right.
so that you're over it when you get to work. And I don't know. I'm feeling better today than I did the day before, but I still got this bad cough.
Yeah. I got my COVID shot on a Sunday, and I was garbage on the following Monday. I wasn't like I felt like I had the flu, like you do when you
Yeah,
get the COVID shot. And my arms hurt. Um, but like the next morning, fine.
yeah.
That's how you
So
know it's working.
maybe it's been 2 days now. Maybe I got it on Tuesday night. I'm trying to remember. Oh, you don't know? Oh yeah, I know what I can do. Walgreens sent me a text.
I went to Walgreens. I made a an appointment online. They never asked me what kind of insurance I have. When I got to Walgreens, the lady said that they don't take my insurance. So I
Oh
had to
no,
go somewhere else. And then I made an appointment for the next day at a CVS, which is inside the Target downtown. I didn't even know there was a CVS inside the Target downtown. They never asked about my insurance. So
interesting.
bonus points for
So
CVS.
and it was on Tuesday that I got it. Tuesday at 8. So I've been here for a little while.
Tuesday at 8. Watch Cheers and The Cosby
Yeah.
Show.
Oh man, this is one of those things. We've talked about this before, but when people um say, "Oh well, I never liked that guy's stuff,"
Right.
um, I really didn't enjoy the Cosby Show or Cheers, but I understood that they were cultural, you know,
Cultural landmarks.
things,
Yeah.
and so I watch them anyway. But I will say this: Yellow Jackets, which just came on Netflix, season one, um, I did enjoy. I watched all of it, and I enjoyed it.
I haven't
If you
seen
haven't
it.
seen it, um, it's soccer team gets stranded in the wilderness,
And then they
that
start
kind
to
of thing.
eat each other.
Hey man, let's not
I'm not gonna tell you try.
give too many things away. Oh yeah. Hey, come on.
I'm between
I
TV
think
shows right now. I just finished Peaky Blinders last night, like the very last episode.
oh yeah,
They're making a movie, so I'll watch that when it comes out.
nice.
So I'm looking for a
Um,
new TV show to watch. I hear that Agatha All Along is pretty good.
really? Huh.
Yeah,
I haven't checked it out.
surprisingly.
I don't know. I'm watching the Middle Earth thing right now. It's pretty good.
The Rings of Power.
Amazon. Yeah, Rings of Power.
Yeah,
I'm liking it so far. It's it's good. It's fine.
it's fine.
It's
I
fine.
I saw the
I
first season. I just remember like for some reason it just felt like a slog to get through, but for some reason I felt like I had to do it. I don't think I was really
in a
into the
way,
show.
Ben, I know this sounds weird, but that's kind of what the Middle Earth books are like as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's one of these things where you're like, okay, well, I should read this. I should, watch this, whatever. Um, before, I mean, I was watching the Twin Peaks
Yeah.
again. I was watching the Leftovers again, like shows that are really like,
Comfort shows.
a number one for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I mean, I'm
yeah, I
probably
don't.
if nothing else, I may just watch The Sopranos over, even though I've already seen the whole thing twice.
Wow. Hey, that's something though.
But that was also one of those things. Like I didn't start watching this like the very first time as far back as I didn't see it on HBO, but I borrowed the DVDs from Brett Fetzer. That's how I watched The Sopranos for the first time.
Wow. Yeah.
And I did it not because I was like, I want to watch The Sopranos, but it was more like this is a cultural icon. I should probably be familiar with it.
Yeah.
And ended
It's
up
a
falling in love with
it's a good, from what I understand, it's a good show. I've seen some of it for sure.
it.
Um, but yeah, I think Rings of Power is good. Um, also I'm interested. Oh, what was it? Oh, Slow Horses, Ben. Slow Horses. Have you seen? Do you have Apple TV
I
or no?
do. I haven't seen it. That's on the list. That I hear good things.
I really think that you would enjoy it. I think that maybe that's the one that you should give a try
All right.
because it's like 6 episodes per season. Very.
Yeah. Like Peaky Blinders is like seasons just gonna fly by.
Yep, yep. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. I'm interested in seeing Wolves, which
Wolf.
is Brad Pitt Wolves, Brad Pitt and George Clooney as two rival fixers
Ah.
trying to. I think anyway, if it's not, it should be a nod to Mr. Wolf
Clean Marlon
in.
brains out of the back of the car.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, Ben, speaking about cleaning brains out of the back of the car, we are at the end of another episode.
Indeed.
Um, it was really great talking to you. As you can see, pretty much no change in the process. I'm just in a different spot now.
Yeah.
Now we're in two major U.S. cities.
And next week, I will be in a slightly less major U.S. city. I will be coming to you from Omaha, Nebraska, if I make it to my hotel in time. That is yet to be determined, but I will keep you posted.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, and speaking of, this is one of those things that future historians will be like, I can't believe that they waited until the very end to talk about this. Today is October the 10th, 2024.
10-10.
No, NOAA,
Oh,
which is
right.
the national, what is it?
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Yeah, they mentioned that there's going to be a huge geomagnetic storm tonight,
Oh,
which could wipe out communications for people and also make auroras visible to people from
under the
the
age of 13.
from Alaska all the way down to Alabama.
Wow.
Now, what this means is, of
Hitting all
course,
the
power
A
grids,
states.
which might have already been weakened by both hurricanes and tornadoes.
Right.
Uh, Somebody mentioned that Tampa Bay got completely drained of water
Yeah,
by Milton.
I saw footage of that. The bay,
Yeah,
the water got sucked out of the bay, and someone was like, "That looks amazing. I want to go down there and do some metal detecting, but I know that the water's going to come back and in a hurry."
yeah, exactly. So fun, fun times
Yeah,
happening.
we didn't even mention
But
the
oh,
1, 2, 3 punch of two hurricanes and tornadoes that just hit our country.
yeah, exactly. So, of course, some people are saying that it's a man-made weather phenomenon. Those people are crazy.
They control the weather,
Um,
don't you know?
bum. They, I think they would be a great name for a spy organization, or them.
If it isn't already.
That I guess they would be the I don't know. It would be they and them. Oh gosh, they them. Ben, hold on. Wait.
You've just invented non-binary spies,
Non-binary, non-binary spy,
non-spinary.
spy, non-spine. Oh boy, I don't know. Also, just I saw the TV Glow.
I watched it. I
So
finally watched it.
yeah. And so, did you notice? Because I didn't notice when it first was on TV. Also, you know, a trans term, TV. Um, I saw the TV glow. Not only does the TV itself have a glow, but a trans person
Ah,
might have a glow about them. It's a whole thing. Pretty crazy, right?
I hadn't put that together, but I can kind of see where you're going with that.
Heartbreaking at the end.
I
I'm sorry, it's just my new
I
medication.
know.
That
I
whole thing.
just
Ah,
I when it ended, I'm like, what? I'm like, what did I just watch? What was this? What?
like
Like,
so,
I have to
and
go through and watch it again with a more clear head, I suppose.
yeah. It's well, we could talk about it later.
Let's talk
Obviously,
about
we're at
it.
the end of the show. It's not a good time. Anyway, but I will see you next time, Ben. And perhaps a little bit closer to home.
Yeah,
All right. So how's it
that
happening?
will
Keep it
happen.
rolling.
How's it happening? Talk to you. Talk to you next
Oh,
week.
I went so long without coughing. I probably didn't. All right. See you, Ben. Bye.
Bye. And we're not